But now he's like moving beyond that point, and he's like, oh, well, you know, anti-Semitism is skyrocketing. People are actually fucking getting murdered. Meanwhile, he's like, yeah, they should kill Greta Thunberg. Israel should kill Greta Thunberg. What is this? Joe Rogan reacts to Greta Thunberg? Let me guess. He's going to belittle Greta Thunberg.
Bro, that little how dare you girl?
Yeah.
How dare you? You know, the climate change girl? You know, the little autistic girl?
She's an
well,
adult,
now
nobody
she's
cares.
free Palestine. She's singing things off her phone. Now she's at the front of a boat like George Washington, making its way to Gaza.
Whatever the
Really?
environment,
Bro,
though.
it's like there she is.
Is the environment done?
Leonardo.
Is that Ari Shaffir that I hear in the background? Because if it's Ari Shaffir, he is, I mean, he's a freak on every issue, but on the issue of Palestine, ironically, he is not a freak and is pro-Palestine. It's Mark Norman.
DiCaprio.
She's got a nice boat.
From the river to the rising sea levels.
She's going to
Not
fix
bad,
it.
dude.
She's going to break the
Hey,
Israeli
not
naval
bad.
Ari Shaffir
blockade.
and Mark
Actually
Norman.
got more.
Bro, those IDF guys are going to turn her into cat food. They will light her up from the fucking shore before she's.
Yeah.
It's Ari, Shane Gillis, and Mark Norman. I don't know why they're laughing. I would have thought they would push back on this a little bit and start ripping into Israel.
Even close. They don't play no
Everyone's
games.
going to.
They don't play
Both sides are going to blow that boat.
Yeah, they don't
the
play
second
no
they
games.
see it.
Yeah.
They actually maybe come together on who gets to
Both
blow
sides. Shane, you don't have to suck his dick this hard, brother. That's crazy. No, I'm not Mr. Anti-joke, okay? You can make jokes about the flotilla. You can make a shit ton of jokes about Israel in this process. I'm shocked that guys that normally would entertain that, guys that know better, like Shane, are in the presence of Joe Rogan and have to, you know, yes, the amazing racist is pro-Palestinian. Ari Shaffir is, as far as I know, pro-Palestine. And I know for a fact that Shane Gillis is pro-Palestine. He hung out with the kneecap boys.
Maybe that can bridge the gap here.
She could
Could
be
be.
sacrificing herself for all of us.
Well, she could be just the best person ever.
Nothing greener
Or
than killing yourself.
she could be someone that they take advantage of
How
and use
dare
at the front of the line for every
You're
cause.
coming into
Ooh,
It's one of those.
She's a young kid, man. It's so crazy to take a young kid and like put them
Alter
as
their
the,
lives. This
Yeah.
is going to be your life now
This,
forever.
you're the face of X, Y, and Z.
This
You're
is
the
this
face
is
of-
Look,
this is
even if it's not up to her, and it is obviously not obviously, but it could be out of her hands. She probably has handlers and political shit. But it's like,
for now.
at least she's
trying.
She is
Gainfully
trying.
employed.
she's trying
She cares.
yeah, gainfully
But
employed.
this is when they're going to Palestine is like those people going to the unchartable islands and be like, "Hi, I'm Christian."
Just spear you immediately.
Yeah, like North Sentinel Island. the
Jesus, you've forsaken me.
guy.
That shit's crazy.
Bro.
That is insane. This is, oh God, these guys are such fucking cowards. You pussies, say some shit about Israel that's like heinous. You know you have it in the tank. You just don't want to rip it in front of Joe. That's it. They're like, my expectation is not that they make no jokes. This is a serious situation, Joe. No, they're fucking comedians. Ari specifically is a shock comic. He is a unfathomably racist person. Okay. But it's like when they're in the same room with Joe, they can't say anything. They can't take a step outside of like the neat little confines that Joe Rogan has designed. Yeah, say some fucking heinous shit. Test the waters. You know, you could say some reaction-inducing statements about Israel. I know, I've heard you say it, Ari.
Or the white social worker who goes into Baltimore ghetto. He's like, "Hey, everybody, I'm here," and they just beat the fuck out of him.
The reason why they're so cowardly, the reason why this is like offensive to me, as someone who likes comedy and as someone who actually has like listened to their work in the past, is because Israel is such a fucking heinous state. Okay, and such a third rail in media, especially, that like if you really wanted to be fucking edgy, if you really wanted to be counterculture, you could make ridiculous statements even about Israel. Okay, instead of basically doing the edgy version of what fucking CNN says, you know. This is not bravery. What they're exhibiting here is cowardice, okay? What they're exhibiting here is cowardice. To be like, yeah, Palestinians are fucking feral animals. That's the way I'm going to be edgy. I'm going to do shock jock shit. Yeah, punching down at people that have a ton more courage than they do because what? They're autistic and have a media presence that's like a media presence they were contentious to when they were building their comedy careers. It's baby shit. This isn't about jokes or comedy. It's about the message of the jokes, them being provocateurs and material. No, it is about comedy. I'm hitting this exclusively from the angle of comedy. My commentary on this, watching 4 comedians, okay, having a conversation at a comedy podcast about some serious political shit, but in a lighthearted manner, as comedians do, right? As comics do. What they're doing is unironically what cowards do, okay? Even from a pure comedy standpoint, what they're doing is cowardly. You are choosing not to craft a joke about Israel at the expense of Israel, and instead actively leaning in the direction of punching down because you know the audience, if you get edgy when you punch down, will actually still think you're like crafting a funny joke, haha, and still think that you're counterculture and also edgy, but it's actually infinitely less risque as a joke to craft than one that actually attacks Israel. And these guys actually do criticize Israel with regular frequency. Okay? They do. They just don't want to do it right now in front of Joe Rogan because they suck up the Joe sexual style. They have to suck him off. Actually, you know what? This is a good opportunity to show you, okay, what I mean when I say this. These guys have no fucking humor. Edgy humor, motherfuckers, when you actually make a joke about Israel. Buckle up. Here, edgy humor, motherfuckers, Mr. Free Speech, motherfuckers, when you're all of a sudden exercising your free speech to make jokes at the expense of a nuclear armed state. Or even before you talk about the expense of the nuclear armed state, here's Dave Portnoy.
You should just
hoping that a fucking missile strikes Greta Thunberg's ship.
go over to Gaza. We can do unnamed. You can be live
I'll
in
jump
Gaza.
I'll jump on Greta Van Thorsten or whatever that girl. She's sailing there, like whoever that. I hope they hit a fucking like a missile on her boat.
Well, I hope they.
Yeah. Also, in that same podcast, this is what he fucking said. This is what he, in the same podcast, hey, that's just jokes, bro. I hope they fucking bomb her ship, bro. I hope Israel bombs her ship, bro. Here, same podcast. Let's take a look at what else he had to say on the same podcast about jokes.
Right now, you probably
Okay, nothing then.
do it.
Nothing. Silence everything.
What do you?
Every comedian, don't tell a joke about it. Because somebody, like Dave, that's how the world works. I agree with you.
Go back to your question. When does freedom of speech impinge
That was your
on freedom
question,
of
not
religion?
mine. That was your question. Not mine.
Answer it.
How many deaths?
Yeah.
I don't have an answer. What's
Like
your
how
answer?
in
What's your-
America, American
what's your
citizens.
answer? What's your answer to that question?
Now.
We're there.
Now.
So
Yeah. Dave, rapist, funny pork boy, is fucking losing his mind at people making, like, mostly Jewish comics, making jokes at the expense of Jews, which is literally the fucking hallmark of comedy in America, okay? Like, Jewish comedians making fun of Jews is literally like 75% of comedy at its inception point. And then the 25% is black people making fun of black people, okay? It's fucking insane. It's like 75-25. What the fuck are we talking about?
now what? So now what do we do?
So maybe you stop with the fucking Jew jokes and act like it's not a big deal when someone does fuck the Jews in a bar.
Or no, here's the thing. I'm with you 1,000% on that. You should have fucking kicked those people out. Of course you should.
I'm not talking about kicking them out. I'm talking about.
You want to go to jail? Like, what do you want? Like, those guys.
You
those
are
guys,
defending this guy Mick for what
not-
he said right after that happened. He's not
No,
anti-Semitic.
I'm not
Yes, he
defending
is.
him. No,
if
I'm not.
your
no,
brain
I'm,
goes in,
I'm
you
not
are
defending him, Dave.
anti-Semitic
What I'm
piece of
saying
shit.
is, you should have him on here or somebody else like that and
Why?
fucking fight with them, because then you have a conversation.
That's what this idiot wants.
Dave, these guys that wrote the thing at the bar, the Jews, right?
Yes.
You're gonna fucking fly them to Auschwitz. Some guy tweets at you something. You want to fucking? He's not. You can't come on
It
here
was
for
a bar
5
I
minutes?
owned. It was a bar I
agree, and they
owned.
should-
By the way, I'm literally on board with what Dave Porkboy was saying initially and what he wanted to do. I even said he gave too much grace to a guy who was very clearly anti-Semitic. Okay? But now he's like moving beyond that point, and he's like, oh, well, you know, anti-Semitism is skyrocketing. People are actually fucking getting murdered. Meanwhile, he's like, yeah, they should kill Greta Thunberg. Israel should kill Greta Thunberg. What is a more likely possibility? Okay? What is a more likely possibility? Someone getting fucking, like a Jewish person getting hate crimed because someone said something anti-Semitic, or Greta Thunberg getting fucking assassinated by the state of Israel. I'm being for real right now, because a Jewish person getting hate crimed has a very high likelihood. Okay? Anti-Semitism is increasing at an alarming rate. But the causal factor there is not someone saying something anti-Semitic in the Western world. The causal factor is every single thing that people see on the television and the association, the false association people make between Israel and Jews. It is Israel's own violence and Israel's own dangerous conflation of its violence with Judaism that is causing anti-Semitism currently to skyrocket. That, and also Twitter normalizing neo-Nazi sentiment. So even if you want to combat anti-Semitism, as do I, you have to look at the right vectors of hate. You have to look at the appropriate places where this kind of hate is manifesting. You have to look at the actual causal factors and not just sit there and be like, we got to do something. We got to fucking jail every person. While in the process of turning around and being like, also, we should kill Greta Thunberg. Israel should kill Greta Thunberg.
He's been kicked out. So, but my thing
No,
is, like,
it's not just kick out, Kirk. Are you ignoring what's going on in the world?
No,
right
I'm
now?
not. What, Dave? What do you want to do? Those guys? What do you want to do?
It's
What do you
related?
want to do with those guys in the
Kirk,
bar? Put them in
Kirk,
jail for
Kirk,
50 years?
Kirk,
Fine. I don't
I
care.
didn't
They're
say that.
assholes.
You're quite literally changing everything you say, Kirk. If you just want me to kick him out, not mention it, not care that this kid
Not at all.
is anti-Semitic,
Not at all.
shut
Not at all.
up. If you just want me to ignore.
Like, unironically, Barstool has a major reactionary audience, right? Like a massive right-wing audience. Barstool is a massive right-wing audience. When those guys see Dave Portnoy be like, I'm a Jew and I'm terrified of anti-Semitism exploding, and then in the same breath be like, and this 22-year-old Greta, she needs to be assassinated by Israel. I don't give a fuck. I hope they assassinate her. I hope the Jewish state assassinates her. Who do you think contributed to more anti-Semitic tendencies manifesting amongst the Barstool audience? Do you think it was the pro-Palestinian protests on college campuses, or do you think it was you, Dave? You're doing it when you're fucking being an asshole and being like, nah, we got to defend Israel.
Don't tell me to shut up.
Shut the fuck up, you bald fuck.
Okay, go ahead.
How's that?
Oh, it's kill. I'll never recover from that, Dave. Go ahead, continue. I'll never recover.
Well, you're the one who like, oh, big boss man, don't tell. I'll tell you, you work for me.
Okay, go ahead,
You
continue.
little bitch, you work for me.
Sure, you bet. For now,
Oh, you
continue.
don't? For now, quit. I don't
Well,
care. I'll
is
take 500 grand.
this a show or not a show? Like, is it a show or not a show? Like, we can't have a conversation?
You're an idiot.
Okay, continue.
You're
Go ahead.
literally saying people should be allowed to make Jew jokes, say whatever they want right fucking now. That's
Yes,
what
I
you're
think people
saying.
should be allowed to make jokes.
So how many motherfucking Jews have to be
jokes.
killed before you stop?
That everybody, I don't think.
What else? Where else?
I think we're once again discounting, unless Dave is talking about something else, but in polite society, people who make Jew jokes are Jews. On Twitter, people who make Jew jokes are not making jokes. They're fucking Nazis that are actively dehumanizing Jewish people. And they're doing so by, of course, conflating them with the state of Israel for the most part, and then saying that Israel dominates American politics. And then every single person in liberal media is also playing along with this dangerous conflation by saying the exact same thing, but in a woke manner. Okay? They're saying the exact same thing, but woke-like. The attitude that you demonstrate as like a right-wing guy who's like, I'm free speech, I'm for free speech, oh, these are just jokes, these are just jokes, is so silly because on the one hand, there is systemic discrimination against black people and brown people, and Dave has no issues making jokes like that. When there is systemic discrimination against black and brown people and you're making anti-black and anti-brown jokes and dehumanizing them, that actually does play a role in undermining them, as opposed to making Jewish jokes as a Jewish comedian for the most part, when there is no comparable systematic discrimination against Jewish people in the United States of America right now. I'm not talking about historical bigotry or mechanisms of enforcement that were inherently anti-Semitic, but instead I'm talking about systemic enforcement of anti-Semitic actions. It doesn't exist. It's the same as making jokes about Irish people or Italian people because Jews are broadly seen as white. They are broadly categorized under the fucking banner of whiteness. That's it. That's just the truth. In contemporary American society, Jews are seen as white in the same way that Italians are, even though they were historically discriminated against, and obviously not to the same degree as like Jewish historic discrimination. In the same way that like Greeks were historically discriminated against, in the same way that Polish people were historically discriminated against, Jews are now comfortably within the banner of white people. While there is no comparison between systemic discrimination that black and brown people, poor people face, as opposed to systemic discrimination that Jewish people experience in the United States of America. Can Jews still experience anti-Semitic hate? Of course, and they do. Having said that, there are mechanisms that actually actively work to stop that from happening. There's institutional defense against anti-Semitism. It's perhaps one of the most influential forms of fighting against discrimination. And the reason for why it even is influential is because it is directly tied back to defending Israel, America's foreign policy interests.
Is that happening with the religion or people?
I don't think those psychopaths, I'm with you, they're scumbags, are the worst people on the earth. Should that
You don't think it's all related?
But Dave, you're telling a comedian not to make a joke?
It's Dick is not a comedian.
I'm with you, but you said stop all jokes.
Jew jokes of that nature now.
We'll ban Jew jokes of that nature. We'll get the Constitution, we'll get Congress, and stop Jew jokes of that nature.
I'll go back to this.
Yeah.
When does freedom of speech impinge on freedom of religion?
I don't think freedom of speech should. I think freedom of speech is the most important thing in this country.
Okay, so people can go kill the Jews, and there's no responsibility if someone goes and kills Jews.
No, that's that.
I don't even know what he's talking about, because like on the one hand he'll be like talking about something that's not a joke. Like someone saying kill the Jews is not a fucking joke. It's just like that's a call to action. Okay, that's not. Now I don't know if Dave would have that exact same fucking take about like someone invoking killing black people. I doubt that he would be as defensive. But even then, like that's not a fucking joke. You know what I mean?
That's a crime if you kill somebody.
No, but not saying, hey, go kill Jews.
That's different. No.
A producer said Rabbi Portnoy.
No. What do you mean?
You can say somebody should go kill Jews. You don't do it, but someone hears you and goes do it. You're fine with that?
If somebody says go kill Jews?
Yes.
No, that's different than telling. I thought we were talking about telling a joke. I thought we were talking about comedians.
They are all using semantics for anti-Semitism right now.
I have a completely different view on this, which is that comedy and poking fun of stereotypes is essential to build tolerance. If you say there's one ethnic or religious group you can't joke about, that will just create resentment. Plus, let's be real, Jews are probably the second funniest group in comedy. If you ban Jew jokes, the Jewish unemployment rate would skyrocket. Why is he doing this weird histrionic shit? Gay as hell. Victimhood is all the rage right now on the left and right. I wouldn't tell people don't make jokes about Pakistanis. I even organized a comedy show where a white dude did just that. No, I get it. He faced an actual prejudice comment. I get like 100 a day on here, but if you had it, yeah, that's the other thing. Motherfuckers will literally call me a terrorist. Islamophobia has no institutional protection, okay? In the same way that anti-Semitism does. And he's over here fucking crying about an anti-Semitic incident. Meanwhile, like, there's never a moment where I could just be like, hey, man, that's kind of fucked up and racist that you keep saying I'm a fucking terrorist that needs to be arrested and possibly killed by the fucking government, as the government is contributing to the Holocaust of a fucking predominantly Muslim group of people. And you're over here saying I should be fucking assassinated by that same government because I'm defending the people that are being ethnically cleansed. There's nothing you can do about it. Like there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing any of us can do about it. There's no way to like combat that sort of thing. It's just perfectly normalized.